When you wake up, your kidneys are exhausted. For the last 6 to 8 hours, while you slept, they have been continuously filtering blood, balancing minerals, and clearing toxins, all without a single new nutrient coming in to support them. They enter the morning in a state of nutrient deficit and mild oxidative stress. This chart tracks natural kidney filtration capacity from age 40 to 80. As you can see, once you pass 60, the reserve capacity starts to drop by about 10% every decade. Your kidneys simply have less biological leverage to bounce back from stress than they did when you were younger. But look at what happens to that baseline curve when we introduce a standard breakfast. When you wake up and immediately eat white toast, instant oatmeal packets, or sweetened yogurt, the line diverges downward. That daily habit creates a chronic morning inflammation cycle that accelerates the rate of renal decline far past the natural aging process. Those refined carbohydrates trigger an immediate, sharp spike in your blood sugar. That spike creates an inflammatory response throughout your body that travels directly into your kidney tissue, damaging the microscopic filtering units called nephrons at the exact moment they are most vulnerable. We are not going to talk about a marketing hype detox. The biological reality of kidney health requires a stricter approach. We are going to strictly evaluate 5 high-efficiency whole foods. We will look at exactly how they operate at the cellular level, the preparation trade-offs they require, and how to use them whether you are building a preventative longevity routine or managing a restricted renal diet. The ultimate goal for your first meal is simple. You must replace habits that impose a high metabolic tax with foods that impose a low one. When you make that switch, your kidneys can spend their morning hours repairing their tissue rather than fighting through a massive backlog of waste. We start with your carbohydrate base, plain rolled oats. There is a clear trade-off here. You have to abandon the convenience of tearing open a highly processed flavored instant packet and commit the 5 minutes it takes to cook real rolled oats on the stove. This diagram shows a cross-section of your digestive tract to illustrate why that 5-minute effort matters. Plain rolled oats contain beta-glucan. This specific soluble fiber forms a thick gel in your digestive system that physically traps glucose particles, forcing them to absorb into your bloodstream slowly. You skip the blood sugar spike entirely, keeping arterial inflammation away from your kidneys. To secure this biological benefit, you have to accept a different flavor profile. Adding refined sugars or artificial sweeteners defeats the purpose. If you need sweetness, use natural, low-mineral toppings like fresh berries or a small drizzle of raw honey. For your morning protein, the optimal source is the egg, but preparation dictates its value. You want them poached, boiled, or scrambled with a little water. Frying them in butter adds a cardiovascular burden, and adding salt forces your kidneys to immediately work harder to balance sodium levels. This bar chart measures protein biological value, the metric for how efficiently your body uses a protein for tissue repair. Eggs score a perfect 100. Your aging kidneys use the pure albumin protein from the egg to repair their tubular tissue without generating metabolic waste. Red meat, by contrast, sits at 74, leaving a 26% waste byproduct that your kidneys are forced to filter out. The sacrifice required here is giving up the hyperpalatability of processed breakfast meats. Bacon and sausage carry massive sodium and nitrate loads that immediately act as a heavy filtration tax on your system. When you pair the complex beta-glucan fiber of rolled oats with the zero-waste albumin protein of an egg, you eliminate the 2 largest dietary stressors on your morning filtration in a single plate. Next, we add fresh or frozen blueberries, but the biological timing here is strict. To utilize them for cellular repair, you must consume them within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. The dark pigments you see in blueberries are called anthocyanins. When delivered in that specific first hour of the day, they rapidly reach your kidney tissue and intercept the free radicals that accumulated overnight, neutralizing them before they can trigger cellular damage. Clinical research points to blueberries as one of the few foods that actively inhibit kidney fibrosis, the dangerous process where healthy filtering tissue is permanently replaced by non-functional scar tissue. This requires a very conscious behavioral shift. You have to move your fruit consumption away from convenient afternoon snacks and lock it into your morning routine. This might even require sourcing frozen berries during the off-season to manage grocery costs. Eating blueberries later in the day is fine, but it misses the critical vulnerability window. Your kidneys need that exact antioxidant support the most when they are transitioning out of their overnight filtration cycle. Our fourth food is unconventional for a breakfast plate, but highly potent for renal repair: the sweet potato. Sweet potatoes provide a massive concentration of beta-carotene. Your body uses this exact raw material to maintain and repair the epithelial cells that line your kidney tubules. Those cells are the structures responsible for keeping the nutrients you need in your blood while pushing the waste out. But there is a severe medical constraint here. A single medium sweet potato contains approximately 440 milligrams of potassium. If you are diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and placed on a mineral-restricted diet, sweet potatoes become a high-risk food. For those with moderate medical restrictions, you can navigate this using a preparation method called leaching. By peeling the potato, cutting it into small cubes, boiling it in a large volume, and discarding that cooking water, you strip away roughly 50% of the total potassium content. The final anchor food is plain, single-ingredient Greek yogurt. This means strictly unflavored, natural cultured milk. You must explicitly forbid the vanilla variations or the versions with fruit preserves on the bottom. This flow path diagram illustrates why plain yogurt works, through a mechanism called the gut-kidney axis. Beneficial bacteria, like lactobacillus, thrive in a healthy lower intestine, generating anti-inflammatory compounds that travel safely up to the kidney, while actively blocking uremic toxins from entering your bloodstream. Commercial flavored yogurts completely destroy this protective effect. They pack 15 to 25 grams of added sugar into a single serving, which triggers an inflammatory cascade in your gut that neutralizes any probiotic benefit the yogurt originally contained. Achieving true renal restoration means accepting these strict trade-offs. You either commit to meticulously leaching minerals from a root vegetable, or you adapt your palate to accept the stark, tart flavor of unflavored cultured milk. The biological reward is dictated by the dietary discipline. Long-term renal restoration is not achieved by eating one exotic superfood on a Saturday morning. It is achieved by consistently minimizing the metabolic tax of your daily routine. Look at this split-screen scorecard to map out your rotation. To do this safely, you have to select your breakfast items strictly based on your current stage of renal decline. If you are operating with normal age-related decline and have no medical restrictions, you fall into the preventative plan on the left. You can freely rotate all 5 of these foods throughout your week. Focus on habit consistency rather than perfection. If you are actively managing chronic kidney disease, you are on the restricted plan on the right. Your foundation relies entirely on the low-mineral trio: rolled oats, blueberries, and eggs, specifically using egg whites to eliminate any remaining protein waste workload on your filtration. And here is the strict medical caveat for the restricted group. Do not implement sweet potatoes into your morning routine without direct approval from your nephrologist, and only do so with absolute adherence to the leaching protocol. Your action step for tomorrow morning is low friction. Look closely at your current breakfast routine. Pick exactly one high-tax item, like that sugary packet of flavored instant oats, and swap it out for its whole food, low-tax alternative. Absorbing a small amount of prep time friction tomorrow morning might feel inconvenient at first, but that specific daily effort compounds over decades. It is exactly what dictates whether your kidneys and your overall health spend their later years actively thriving or slowly failing.